All right, Shalom, it's your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the brothers that are doing this work in true sincerity. I'm going to jump right into the lesson. This is James 4 and 7. It says, submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahweh. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So the point of that scripture that I wanted to get out was submit yourself. So speaking on submission, because we are to submit ourselves to the Most High, and to submit yourselves to the Most High is to be pleasing unto Him. To submit yourself to Yahweh Shem Yoshai is to be accepted of Him, because He requires full submission and nothing less. So and also in submitting ourselves to the Most High, we build up a defense against the wickedness of this world, because you're staying in the Spirit, man. You're being accepted by the Most High by your submission to Him, and there's benefits to that, but it's also what that does is that opens up the straight gate, that activates the straight gate, that activates the path of difficulty. But I'm gonna get Genesis the 4th chapter. Salak. This is Genesis 4, and I'll start of verse 3. It says, in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord. And that back in those days the law was oral. So Cain knew that he had to bring an animal sacrifice, but he didn't want to fully submit himself to the Most High. He wanted to bring a subpar, substandard, unacceptable sacrifice. And I'm pretty sure he knew it, man. But since Cain had the spirit of Esau upon him, he was born to be rebellious. So this is I run that back again, Genesis 4 and 3. In the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and the fat thereof. So he knew to bring the correct and proper sacrifice. That says, and the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So the Most High was accepting of Abel's offering. He had respect unto it. Let's get that word respect. It says, let's see here. To look at, to gaze at, to look away, to look. Well, that doesn't really tell us anything. But he had respect unto it. Let's get a definition for that word respect. It says, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by the abilities, qualities, achievements, due regard to the feeling which is right to the tradition of others, admire deep result the abilities, qualities, or achievements. So basically, he accepted Abel's offering because it was correct and it was right and it was according to the old law in that day. It says, verse 6, and the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? So to submit yourself to the Most High is to be accepted by Him, man. And if thou doest not well, and non-submission, sin lies at the door. So in non-submission, sin rules over you. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. You see that? So if you're not fully submitted to the Yahweh Shem Yahushai, then by default you are submitted to sin. 2/3 of our people, they're submitted to sin. The world in general is submitted to sin. So that's why, going back to James 4 and 7, submit yourself therefore to Yahweh, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So resist the devil, he will flee from you. Does that mean that you're not going to have affliction, you're not going to have trial, you're not going to have tribulation? No, it means that you're going to be tested. But if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. So how do you resist the devil? It tells you right there, by submitting yourself unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's how you submit yourself unto the Most High, man. Let's get 1 Peter 5 and 8, I think it is. This is 1 Peter's 5 and I think it's verse 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, this is the roaring lion, walking about seeking whom and be devoured. So to be sober and vigilant is to have submission to the Most High, man. Whom resist steadfast in faith, with the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. So submitting yourself to the Most High activates a straight gate, activates a life of difficulty. So submission is what a man of the Lord is supposed to do. Full submission, man. That's what the Lord requires. That's what the Lord deems acceptable. You know, we just read it in Genesis, the 4th chapter. The Lord accepts submission. So let's get 2 Chronicles 30 and 8. That's a real quick lesson. Here's the plantation. This is 2 Chronicles 30 and 8. And it says, now be ye not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto the Lord, and enter into a sanctuary which he has sanctified forever, and serve the Lord your power, that the fierceness of wrath may turn away from you. So those that don't submit, they have the fierceness of the wrath of the Most High set upon them, man. And part of the reasons that we do this work, you know, the number one reason, because we are commanded to do, is that we're hoping for mercy. We're hoping that the Most High doesn't show forth his wrath upon us in that day. Let's run that back again. Now, be not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves to the Lord, submission, and enter into a sanctuary, which he has sanctified forever, and serve the Lord your power, that the fierceness of wrath may turn away from you. See that, man? So we're hoping for that mercy in that day, and that's why we submit. That's why we follow the law, statutes, commandments, to the best abilities. That's why we do everything in our power to make ourselves acceptable to the Most High. So let's get Romans 10 and 3. This is Romans. It's a lock. Romans 10 and 3. And it says, I'll start at verse 1. It says, Romans 10 and 1 said, brother, my heart's desire and prayer to Yahweh for Israel, that they might be saved. You know, so you look at your family members, and we look at your people, and you really desire them to be correct and right, you know. You know, we desire our women to be in order, but they're not. We desire our family members to be in order, but they're not. You know, and sometimes there's a point where it vexes you and it saddens you that they're not, you know, living correctly. But that's all by predestination. You know, even Yahweh Shai said he wept for the multitude. You know, so there's times where it vexes you, it saddens you to see our people in a downtrodden state, man, fully submitted to wickedness and evil. Just wasting their life, man, in pursuit of what they deem is important, which are the fashions of this world. Just for I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh, but not according to knowledge. See that? So you go up to the average Jake, he's going to profess to believe in a higher power. You know, he's going to profess to believe in God. Whether he's a Christianity or a Catholicism or Muslim or whatever, he's going to profess to believe in a higher power. So they have it in them to believe that there's something greater than themselves, but they don't have it in them to submit fully, because the Lord has blinded them, man. It says, for they, being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness and about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yahweh. See that? So they are not submitted to the Most High. So that makes them open. Makes them open. It's open season on them by the devil. You know, the roaring lion, man. That makes you a target. Non-submission makes you a target for the wickedness of this world, for the influence of wickedness of this world. And Jake is easily influenced, man. That's why these elites, they control the music industry. They calculate and they decide what they want Jake to hear. They want Jake to hear adultery, murder, death, harlotry, wickedness. And those things, they enter into your mind, man. Those things, those songs, those songs that these rappers and entertainers that they make, they have demonic curses on them. So their whole goal is for you to submit to their wickedness, and they use Jake to do that, man. You know, that's why they'll pay some young Jake all this money to make an album full of wickedness, man. No one speaks about that. No one winks an eye at it, man. No one cares about it anymore. It's accepted. This type of music, this type of behavior, the adultery, the wickedness in music, the vanity of music, it's accepted now. That's the normal thing. You know, it started with the 90s, the gangster rap, man. You know, there used to be protests about it, but now it's like it's just a thing, man. It's just, oh, that's just gangster rap. See, so the world has already submitted themselves to the devil, man. You know, because they have not. That's why it says right here, they have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yahweh. So, opposite of that is wickedness, man. So that's the state the world is in. It's either or. Either you're submitting to the Most High, or you're submitting to sin and wickedness, as you read in Genesis, the 4th chapter. So that's the world we live in, man. You know, that's why the scripture says submit to the Most High and resist the devil, he will flee from you. So that's a defense against those things, man. You know, so that's why it's very important to walk in submission to Yahweh Shem Shai. How do you do that? By number one, you know, staying in these scriptures, man. Following the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your abilities. Doing those things that you are commanded to do as a man of the Lord. You know, going back to Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, where's the whole duty of man? To fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Submission. You see that? Submission, man. And Yahweh Shai spoke of submission. Let's get Salak. Matthew 11:29. This is Matthew 11:29. And it says, take my yoke upon you, Salak, and learn of me. So to take the yoke, to submit. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So to live for righteousness, hey, you'll have a good night's sleep, man. To understand and follow the Lord, you're gonna be able to sleep well. Those that do wickedness, you know, there's gonna Jake that does wickedness. Most likely they can't sleep that good because their spirits are troubling or bothering them unless they're so far gone into wickedness and demonic influence that they just don't care no more. Well, how does Jake go to sleep, man? He goes to sleep by alcohol, by drugs, weed, whatever. He needs substances to help him fall asleep, man. You know, because if you have a conscience fucking with you, sometimes you can't even go to sleep, man. You know, so there's a benefit to submitting yourself to the Lord. You know, there's a benefit to having a conscience and submission to Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, there's a benefit to all of it. Resist the devil, he shall flee from you. So we are on the right path, man. We are on the right path by submitting to the Most High, for the Most High. That's the best thing you can do with your life. Everything else is just a waste of time and energy. You know, and if you understand this truth, then you should be very grateful that you have been shown that grace, man. So what do you do after that? You have to submit. You have to submit. You have to submit. You have to walk that straight gate. You have to Put on the full armor, going back to the book of Ephesians. So that's just a real quick lesson here at the plantation. Talking about submitting yourself. And that's the mind state mentality to have, man. Well, with that being said, it's a real quick lesson. Most I want to hope to edify. Instead, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let's keep pushing. Shalom.